Hello, and welcome to another episode of Surviving the Narcissist. On this channel, we look at narcissistic behavior from a personal, I'm a narcissistic abuse survivor, thriver, and now I'm an overcomer, professional, I'm a life coach, and a spiritual perspective because we're mind, body, and spirit. Also, the purpose of this channel is to look at the behavior of the narcissist. Not everyone that has narcissistic behavior is a narcissist because narcissistic personality disorder is a psychiatric disorder. So we're looking at the behaviors that affect you as the target. So we're going to continue to focus on the things that narcissistic mothers do to their children, but we're going to focus on sons of narcissistic mothers. Narcissistic mothers are very controlling and domineering. So um, one of the things they do is they're very cold or a lack of empathy. So empathy is to express feelings of warmth or concern, which they don't. They're only concerned about themselves. And if they are being loving and caring, is usually an ulterior motive. Another thing that narcissistic mothers do is, which goes along with lack of empathy, is neglect. They may neglect your basic needs. They may neglect just in general. If you want to be engaged in activities or things that don't include them, they will try to discourage you, whether through gaslighting or using flying monkeys that you don't need it. Another thing which is really detrimental to the development of a boy until a young man and into a fully functioning adult man is that they're very jealous and competitive. So people that are jealous and competitive, all behavior is on a spectrum. But if they're jealous and competitive, they're not going to help you to develop to be the man that you should be or that God has designed you to be. Because everything's a competition. So they'll give you bad advice. They won't support you. They won't assist you. Because all of that is to keep you dependent and under their control. Another thing that they do, which goes along with the jealousy and the competition, is spotlight thieves. So if you start exhibiting or manifesting certain gifts or talent, that will provoke the jealousy, that will provoke the competition. So they'll try to stop you. So they have to be in the spotlight. So the spotlight goes from, well, you're the person that has the gifts and talent to, well, what did your mother do to raise you? Or what did your mother do to encourage you? Whereas the truth of the matter is your mother might didn't encourage you at all. It might have been a teacher. It might have been a coach. Or in my circumstances, they were strangers. A lot of things that I learned from the guidance counselor at school, teachers at school, because sometimes they would drop nuggets or they would just be saying things and they didn't realize, they just assumed that I had heard this at home or they were reinforcing something that I had heard, and it was new behavior. It was new knowledge. It was new information, and I grabbed onto it. And, a little drop and keep going and keep going and keep going. And so, another thing that mothers of narcissistic sons do is that they always are in competition with the wife or girlfriend or anybody that is taking the focus off of them. They don't like anybody that you date. And it's not it's not real. It's not a concern because they see something, a trait in that person. It's because they know that once you have relationships with people, then that takes the spotlight off of them or they lose their power. Because there's different types of narcissists, but there's some core behaviors. And these are the core behaviors that I'm talking about. So what's the harm in this? The harm is in this is you might want to go to college. As I said in an earlier video, they didn't want me to go to college. They didn't want you to leave. So they're always putting stumbling blocks or roadblocks to keep you from leaving them. They don't accept that as normal growth and development. You go from being a baby, an infant, young child, to a teenager, young adult. They don't want you to be an adult. They want to keep you as a child. They want to keep you under them. They want to be able to fix, manage, and control. And they cannot fix, manage, and control people that aren't close enough to them. So you never are able to become a man. You're never able to be able to think. As some people call it, you're being emasculated. Or in the Bible, there were Enochs. Like they were physically men, but they were made so weak. And because they were controlled and dominated by a narcissistic mother or women that had Jezebel tendencies, that they were unable to think and develop and be who they are supposed to be. And the other detrimental thing about this is that your first teachers are the women that you're raised around, your mother or any other kind of extended female family members, aunts, sisters. So because that's all the behavior that you saw growing up, you tend to marry women or have relationship with women that have the same personality. So a lot of times you're in relationships that you're always trying to prove yourself. Are you worthy? Or yet, do they really love you? Because a lot of narcissistic persons or people that exhibit narcissistic behavior, their love is not based on something that's coming from the heart, that's genuine or authentic or pure or innocent. It's transactional. The amount of love that they say they have for you or the amount of love that they demonstrate towards you is based on you letting them control you. So if you tell them no, you'll see if they really love you or not. Because you'll go from the favorite because you were compliant with everything they wanted you to do to the black sheep target. And then they'll send their flying monkeys. And we talked earlier, flying monkeys enable the narcissist to exhibit the behavior, or they're supporting their supporters. You shouldn't treat your mother like that. Well, what did I do? I just told her, no, I didn't want to. Well, your mother did, everything for you. She brought you into this world. So they'll do a lot of guilt tripping. Like I always say, well, I already told you thank you. Whatever you did for me, I expressed my gratitude and I told you thank you. So, but narcissistic mothers, that's how they hold on to you, through guilt tripping and quote unquote society's expectations, which this culture is a narcissistic culture, because we know that it's true that everybody didn't have a loving, caring mother. And so even though people will always say, and this is the spiritual aspect, because, narcissists use anything, any tool they can weaponize, Well, the Bible says, honor thy mother and thy father. But honor does not mean that you allow people to abuse you. Honor means I recognize the fact that God used you to get me to this earth. And I'm grateful for that. But I do not owe you my life. I do not owe you to be a target of your abuse because God used you to get me here. Because God was loving and caring. God was not a narcissist. God did not exhibit narcissistic behavior. As a matter of fact, his whole ministry was about love and teaching people how to treat each other. And let me know your experience because this is always a sensitive subject. So every time I say something about narcissistic mothers, they always quote scriptures like that, and that's my mother. But just tell me your opinion on if you have a narcissistic mother and the behaviors that they have exhibited and how they use the Bible or what society says about mothers against you when they know that they don't represent those type of mothers. They are not the hallmark type of mothers. As a matter of fact, I always had problems on Mother's Day picking out a card because the stuff that they would write in Hallmark cards, I'm like, well, that's not my mother. And that's not any of the women that were raised around that raised me that were mother figures. And please like, subscribe, and share this video. And also, if you want to learn more about Vision of Recovery and the services I provide as a certified life coach, please visit the website at www.visionofrecovery.com. The information is below. And until next time, be blessed.